Yes, through the end of the second quarter, the Hanwha Global Healthcare Equity Fund has delivered a positive return of 5.9% year to date. This was driven by a very strong second quarter in which the fund generated positive 18% return. The strategy invests in healthcare innovators and disruptors expected to generate attractive, durable growth. Performance has been driven by our focus on three key thematic pillars. The first being high-impact innovation in biopharma and medtech research and development. Recent examples include the rapid development of COVID-19 therapies, vaccines, and tests, as well as gene therapy and oncology treatments. The second thematic pillar is the digitalization of healthcare. In years past, healthcare was relatively slow to adopt digital solutions compared to other sectors of the economy. We've long held the view that the digitalization of healthcare was in fact inevitable, and COVID-19 has dramatically accelerated the adoption of these digital solutions, most notably for telemedicine. And then finally, our third thematic pillar is emerging markets healthcare. So a common theme that we see across emerging markets is increased investment in healthcare resources, from infrastructure to human capital. China has made it a strategic imperative to cultivate biotech domain expertise and has had notable success to date, really. And COVID-19 has essentially put healthcare to the top of the policy agendas across the globe. And so we expect increased investment across emerging markets. So these three thematic pillars are really key differentiators for the Hanwha Global Healthcare Equity Fund. Relative to peers, beyond identifying the best of breed large cap companies, the fund offers greater exposure to the most innovative companies in healthcare, including several small and mid-cap equities across biotech, medtech, healthcare technology, and importantly, emerging markets. This is reflected in our portfolio allocation, concentrating investment in 45 to 60 of our best ideas, and committing to hold 20 to 60% of the portfolio in small and mid-size equities, and 10 to 20% of the portfolio in emerging markets healthcare. The Hanwha Global Healthcare Equity Fund is very well positioned to outperform. The high potential for a global economic slowdown caused by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic favors the defensive nature of the healthcare sector. The sector's resilience should propel the healthcare to the high end of its historical premium versus the broad market. Now, within the framework of our thematic pillars, again, innovation, digitalization, and emerging markets, the fund is focused on companies serving markets with inelastic demand, strong balance sheets, and a very high degree of visibility. Moreover, the fund itself currently holds a higher than usual cash level, allowing for opportunistic investment in high quality companies that are simply caught in excessive market volatility.
下面由我来介绍中国基金
情况。基于对医药行业的中长期的乐观前景，以及我们公司对中国股票型基金过去10几年的管理经验，我们公司在今年3月份的时候推出了韩华中国严选医药基金。截至7月14日，以母基金为主，收益率已经在40%以上。我们持有的标的呢不到40只采用压缩型策略，因为从一方面考虑因为老龄化在加速，所以中国的医药市场它有着非常可观的中长期前景，而另外一方面因为整个医疗体系都在进行改革，所以呢各个子行业还有这个公司的业绩和前景它的差距会越来越大。综合考虑市场的前景以及竞争格局，我们采用了这个压缩型的策略，严选了拥有这个技术还有管线竞争力的公司，因为只有这些子行业的龙头公司，它才有可能受益于市场的这个需求的增长，还有从中占据更多的市场份额。
Given our bottom-up fundamental, due diligence-intensive investment style, we constantly monitor the global healthcare policy and regulatory landscapes, whether it's headline news or otherwise. What we've seen is that COVID-19 has forced greater public-private partnership, emphasizing the criticality of robust healthcare innovation to greater society. The regulatory environment itself remains quite favorable, so regulators continue to refine policies and processes to expedite and streamline the development of important new medicines. Prominent examples in the US include the expansion of the breakthrough therapy designation to cell therapies. This is via the Regenerative Medicine Advanced Therapy Initiative. These programs actually enhance communication and cooperation between government and the drug sponsors, overall lowering the risks during development and review. Now, over the next 12 to 24 months, we do predict a concerted push for new policies and legislation to improve the affordability of drugs. Headlines notwithstanding, the two key factors must be considered when we're assessing this issue of drug pricing. First, drug pricing has been a critical concern for biopharma investors since at least the 1993 Clinton Health Plan, and more recently, of course, during the 2016 US presidential campaign. Elements such as price increases that are indexed to inflation are already factored into valuations in our view. Moreover, some policy changes, which could be highly disruptive to the industry, would be extraordinarily challenging to implement. These include such politically contentious programs such as Medicare for All and drug reimportation. We believe as investors have greater appreciation of these facts, we then expect less volatility in pharma. Second, innovative drugs that offer high value to the healthcare system and its stakeholders should continue to see handsome reimbursement. Highly differentiated drugs that address unmet needs will face lower pricing pressure relative to less differentiated drugs. Now, it's important to note as well that policy reform is not always negative for industry. The US has adopted broad telemedicine reimbursement policies in response to the crisis, and policymakers now indicate that many of these changes will persist after the pandemic, an overall positive for the industry.
다음 질문으로 넘어가서요. 최근 증시 상승세를 보이고 있는데 지금 고점에서 물리는 거 아닌지 우려하시는 분들이 많은데요. 추가 여력이 있을 것이라고 보시는지 마르코?
Yes. In this uncertain environment, investors have turned to healthcare for its defensive characteristics. With the MSCI World Healthcare trading at a significant discount to the MSCI World, investors should consider increasing exposure to healthcare, not only for the sector's superior visibility, but also for its attractive future growth opportunities. COVID-19 has demonstrated, yet again, the sector's capacity for rapid innovation in times of crisis. Now, healthcare should return to its historic premium to the broad market, driven by the relatively inelastic demand supporting attractive earnings growth, both over the next 12 to 24 months, but also into the next decade. Over the last 30 years, in fact, healthcare has delivered the second highest returns among S&P sectors, paired with the third lowest volatility.
谈到中国的这个医疗行业的话，今年以来中国股市的表现，确实是优于大部分的这个市场，所以而且原因有2点。如果看基本面的话，中国的经济以及这个消费它在改善，而且工程机械公司的订单和业绩，还有这个基础投资的数据都很亮丽，所以实体经济数据其实它是在一个慢慢改善的阶段。我们可以观察到的高频数据也在验证这样的结果，例如物流指数，还有企业的复工率、电力的消耗力、电力消耗这些数据呢，它都是从第2季度开始，已经有了明显的起色。而且从估值的角度看，因为宽松的货币政策，流动性比较宽裕 ，A 股相对的估值来讲，它要比其他区域要低，所以资本也在源源不断的流向 A 股市场。现在这个时点，我们预计市场它经济是在企稳，宽松的货币还有财政政策在持续，所以可以预判股市它的这个上涨空间也是比较可观的。
네, 감사합니다. 그럼 다음 질문으로 넘어가서요. 헬스케어 산업이 매우 뜨거운데 이 분위기에 지속 가능성이 있을지 의미 있는 지속성을 보일까요?
中国表现刚才也说到，它的表现要优于其他的这个区域，其中中国的医疗行业指数它的涨幅也居前，其实原因也很显而易见。简单来讲很多人把这个股市比喻成带着狗散步的主人 医疗健康是一个很长的路途，所以至少有30年的路程要走。所以从短期来讲，有可能这个狗脖子上套的这个绳子有点长，但如果看漫路途的话，狗和主人它都是要有很长的一段路要走，所以后续的上涨空间也是比较大的。即使没有新冠疫情，我们也可以看到这个医药行业它的中长期的这个行业趋势比较明显。经济它是会随着这个经济的周期它是会浮动的，而且在现在这个时点，很多人都在担心全球经济下滑会导致全球需求的下降。但是医疗这个行业不一样，人口的结构和老龄化是一个不可逆的，它是一个常数而非变数。这也使得医疗健康行业是一个确定性很强的，而且加速发展的行业。30年之后呢，比如说我们举例65岁以上的人口，它的人口占比会从现在的11%增加到30%，而中国的人均的医疗支出仅是韩国的20%左右，可想而知这个行业的天花板之高。还有就是可能这么讲的话，很多人他没有一个比较直观的感受，我就举个例子吧，很简单，70后、80后是一个人口的小高峰，而这些人现在大概是30-40岁，他们这群人口呢是社会的一个中流砥柱，而这些人30年之后加东成为老年人，而80后基本上是生长在这个改革开放之后，物质上不缺乏，也受了良好的教育，而这批人里面也不缺海归也不缺医疗专家，他们所以国内有比较大的这个市场前景，有比较充裕的资本的支持，有这个创业的热情，所以我们不担心这个行业的中长期的潜质。而且如果仔细看的话，等这批80后他成为老人之后，他们也不会因为缺钱而不治病。而且新冠疫情使得人们对健康的意识有了进一步的加强，而也袒露了现有的医疗体系的不足点，也拉动了很多相关的投资需求。同时最直观的表现就是很多这个远程医疗还有这个疫苗的需求在急剧上升。所以概括来讲的话，因这个中国的医疗健康这个行业本来就是一个需求不断扩大的行业，而新冠疫情只是加快了它的步伐。医药指数在过去11年里面有9年它的表现是要优于大盘，这也说明股价也反映了，或者说将来也会反映医疗行业的这种潜质。
Marco?
Yes, so within the framework of our 3 thematic pillars, again, innovation, digitalization, and emerging markets, the Hanwha Global Healthcare Equity Fund is focused on well-capitalized companies serving markets with inelastic demand and a very high degree of visibility. And let's not forget, this fact is indisputable, that healthcare is the economic sector that will ultimately solve this coronavirus crisis. Now, rising to the challenge with unprecedented speed to develop therapies, vaccines, and diagnostics, biopharma has been investing at risk both in R&D and manufacturing capacity to meet the world's public health needs.